Let's call our meeting to order. This is a regular meeting of the Mayor and Borough Council of the Borough of Seaside Park County, Ocean State of New Jersey, held on Thursday, April 4th, 2024, advertised to begin at the conclusion of the work session meeting, which has now just ended. Pursuant to the provisions of New Jersey's Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of this meeting was properly provided by transmitting the notice of the meeting for publication in the Asbury Park Press on the Star Ledger on January 5th, 2024. Notice of the meeting in the governing body also has been posted in the corridor of the municipal building and in the office of the municipal clerk. Roll call.
Councilmember Anfield. Councilmember Condos.
She will not be here this evening.
Thank you. Councilmember Connor.
Here.
Councilmember Kraft.
Here.
Councilmember Rotunda.
Here.
Council President Wilk.
Here.
Mayor Peterson.
Here.
Thank you.
Let us all stand together for a moment of silence to be followed by a pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The first item on the agenda is request for approval of the minutes of March 21st, 2024, a work session, March 21st, 2024, a regular meeting.
I'll make that,
Motion to approve by Council President Wilk,
second it.
second by Councilmember Connor. Roll call.
Council President Wilk.
Yes.
Councilmember Connor.
Yes.
Councilmember Anfield.
Yes.
Councilmember Kraft.
Yes.
Councilmember Rotunda.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Next are ordinances. The first are a final reading and adoption. It's ordinance 22405, an ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limits to establish a cap bank as per NJSA 40A 445.14, and this in accordance with best practices through the League of Municipalities and otherwise allows leeway, if ever needed, for the town for this year's budget. As for past years, this town and most, if not all other towns. Yep. Any questions, comments from council? If not, we'll go into the audience if there are any public comments or questions on second final reading adoption ordinance 22405. Yes, sir. Mr. Spatafino.
Mike Spatafino, 59th Avenue. I just have a question to get clarified to understand where it says the term, exception, meaning that, that I understand that if the cap increase that we assess for ourselves is not used, does that mean that it's held for a period of time and then just rolled into our budget? Or does that mean that next year, if it's not used, we will not have to use the cap exception to be able to take more funds? How does that work?
I'll turn it over to our council, but my understanding is it's not carried over. But I don't.
That's correct.
Yeah, I mean, it's for this
It's
year.
there if needed.
It's only
But
there.
if you don't, now is it taken or is it not taken? It's just that you're allowed to take that 3.5%.
Essentially raises the,
I mean, are we actually taking it or we are just allowed to take it?
Allowed to take it.
You're allowed to take it, so you're not actually taking the funds out.
No.
Correct. Just being allowed to.
Yeah,
Good,
yeah.
thanks.
Any other comments on first and final reading ordinance 22407? Yes, Faye?
Yeah, thank you, 21 Ninth Street. I'm still not clear, that 3.5 excess over and above the budget. If it's not used, where does it go? Where does it go? How does it get used? What does it,
It's an allowance to be used if desired, if necessary.
okay, it's allowed to be used.
Yes.
Where is it? If it's to be used, where is it? Are we paying that on top of the regular budget so that money is there to be used? And if it is not used, what happens to it?
There's no real money set aside. It's just allowing it to be used,
Okay?
raising raising the water line, if you will, for the
Okay.
next year if needed.
So it's not 3.5 additional that we're paying
No,
this
no.
year, but we would be paying it next year if we wanted it. You're like, it's $1 million, it's $100,000. Where is it? Where is it? Where did it come from? Where is it going?
Again, it's not money that's being taken out of the budget or being set aside.
So then why have it?
It's proven, it's called best practices of the municipal government in the state. It allows you to use it if need be. It doesn't.
Okay, you're allowed to use it.
Correct.
If you need it, where do you get it from?
And that's when you would have to, either get it, exactly, yes. It's it's kind of used in an emergency.
Yeah.
If you ever find yourself,
Yeah.
and you can't exceed it, you have this bank that allows you to exceed the appropriation.
They have an opinion.
So what's the point of having the appropriation if you can go over it?
You don't go over it unless you're using the cap bank. It's not something you take lightly and that you do normally.
Okay,
I don't
I
think we've ever
still don't
used it
understand
much.
where that money's gonna come from if you decide you need it.
As I said, you would have to raise your revenues either through,
So instead of next year, the taxes being raised, we allowed 2.5, it would be raised 6% to cover the 2.5 increase
not.
it
plus.
doesn't mean you have to use all 3.5, and they just want to go a little bit more. It just gives you a little wiggle room to go over it if needed and approved.
I think the key words here, if needed, I mean, if there's something that we really, really had to do, like, we really needed the money for something, then this allows us to be able to have that.
Okay, but wouldn't it be better to maybe cut back on things so we don't need additional? To watch our budget a little bit closer and alleviate some of the things that are extras?
This isn't a cutting back thing. I mean, it's just there. It's like we put it, I don't know how to explain it, Phil. I mean, we have it there, once again, in case we need it for something. If it's not there, then we can't go and get it. We can't use it if it's not in our budget to be able to present, get approved. If it's not there, we just can't. Understand? It's like a placeholder or something. I
It's
don't,
not there.
The state does not allow us to
Right.
go over, state does not allow us to go over
right.
3.5% appropriation. I may be saying that wrong. But by setting up the cap bank, emergency allows you to extend that. So you're basically able to, I won't say circumvent, but you're able to go beyond what's normally the limit.
Like maybe what would be an example of an emergency, maybe that would kind
I'll get you the legal, State of New Jersey League of Municipalities legal opinion momentarily. It's not coming up right now. Any other comments on final reading ordinance 22405? Yes, Mr.
I just
Sabatino?
wanted to ask, if we had to do this, if, you had to do the 3.5,
There it is.
could that money come, doesn't the town have a reserve? Don't we have some money in reserve? Would that money be allowed to be used to cover that?
Potentially.
Okay.
It's an option. I mean, yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Any other comments on final reading? Hearing none, I would close the public portion. I'd entertain a motion from council for final reading adoption ordinance 22405.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Council President Wilk,
Second?
second by Councilmember Kraft. Roll call.
Council President Wilk,
Yes.
Councilmember Kraft,
Yes.
Councilmember Anfield,
Yes.
Councilmember Connor,
Yes.
Councilmember Rotunda,
Yes.
motion approved.
The next is final reading adoption ordinance 22407, amending chapter 225, article 1, section 225.5 of the Code of the Borough of Seaside Park, entitled Recreation Activity Fees. And this as per discussion at past meetings, including the time of introduction, the first reading. Any comments from council? Anything further on this?
I have no comment.
If not, we'll go into the audience if there are any public comments on second reading ordinance 22407. That's Nelson?
122 Elm Street. Just a quick question. I see you go up to $5. Where did that number come from? How did you determine that?
Are you discussing which the farmer's market?
Yes.
We do a survey of farmer's markets in the area, because we want to be competitive, we want to maintain our vendors. And actually, this is comparable to ours in downtown Tom's River. Our rates are still a little bit less expensive than theirs.
Okay. So to try to remain competitive.
Absolutely.
Good. Thank you.
Yeah, we want to maintain vendors so people come to our farmer's market.
It just seemed like the increase in pricing and services, $5 was, I thought that was hilarious. So from how I understand it.
Yeah, I mean, there's 31 markets, and then there's, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 vendors per market, so it adds up.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments on second reading 22407? Hearing none, I'd close the public hearing. I'd entertain a motion from council. Motion by Councilmember Rotunda,
I'll second.
second by Councilmember Connor. Roll call.
Councilmember Rotunda,
Yes.
Councilmember Connor,
Yes.
Councilmember Anfield,
Yes.
Councilmember Kraft,
Yes.
Council President Wilk,
Yes.
motion approved.
Next is final reading and adoption ordinance 22408, amending chapter 435 entitled Vehicles and Traffic, Part 4, Article 11, Section 435-44 of the Code of the Borough of Seaside Park, specifically with respect to charges and fees. And this too as a result of the study through the committee recommendations previously made in work session agenda, and the first reading entails the modifications as suggested in concerning parking in particular. Any summary or input from council further? If not, we'll go into the audience if there's any public comments on second reading ordinance 22408. Yes, Mr. Spadafino?
Mike Spadafino, 59th Avenue. I know that since you've already had a first reading, you're not likely to really change it. I really understand very well lots 1, 2, and 3, where they're located, the proximity to Seaside Heights Boardwalk, and that raising the rates there would be commensurate to be able to be competitive instead of them using one of those lots. They come and fill our lots and then walk down and go on the beach in Seaside Heights. I think that part is a great idea, but the general parking throughout, raising it to $2 and then on weekends up to $3 all along the whole boardwalk, that's the way it's gonna be, right? The parking goes all the way up into the median of Central, on 35. And with this, I think you're gonna even push people to even go further. I know if it was me, and I come down on the weekend and I wanna go out onto the beach, I have a good idea that what I would do is I would be dropping my kids off and family at the boardwalk and then drive up and park on the side street all the way up across the main road to be able to, and that's something to do now, yeah. And you're going to push them up even onto Bayview. And, because, I mean, let's face it, in this whole town, you can cover every street in 15 minutes. And for, if I'm going to do that for 8 hours for $24, I'm going to go look for a parking space. So, you know, I just think that lots 1, 2, and 3, I think is a good idea. General parking, I think, should be left the way it is.
Thank you. Any other public comments on second reading ordinance 22408? Hearing none, I would close the public portion and I'd entertain a motion from council.
Make the motion,
Motion by Councilmember Kraft,
Second.
second by Councilmember Rotunda. Roll call.
Councilmember Kraft,
yes.
Councilmember Rotunda,
Yes.
Councilmember Anfield,
Yes.
Councilmember Connor,
Yes.
Council President Wilk,
Yes.
motion approved.
Next is final reading adoption ordinance 22409, amending chapter 135, article 1, section 135-7 of the Code of Borough Seaside Park entitled Permits Required for Use of Beach and Rates. Any summary from council, any input? This too had been discussed at several past work sessions, including one last year, and came up through the committee again this year. And hearing nothing further from council, I'll go into the audience if there are any public comments, questions. Final reading adoption ordinance 22409. Hearing none, I would close the public portion. I'd entertain a motion from council.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Councilmember Connor,
And I'll second it.
second by Council President Wilk. Roll call.
Councilmember Connor,
Yes.
Council President Wilk,
Yes.
Councilmember Anfield,
Yes.
Councilmember Kraft,
Yes.
Councilmember Rotunda,
Yes.
motion approved.
Next is final reading and adoption ordinance 22410, providing a supplemental appropriation of $329,300 for demolition costs, providing for the issuance of $312,835 in bonds or notes of the Borough Seaside Park to finance the cost of same. This too having been discussed over the last several years. Any questions, comments from council? Hearing none, I'll go into the audience if there are any public comments on final reading adoption ordinance 22410. Yes, Edie?
In 4811, are we going to save any money by letting the fire department practice and hopefully burn some of that down?
Are we going to save what?
Any money by letting the fire department practice and burn it down?
They're not gonna burn it down.
The engineer's estimate was about 750,000, so we saved quite a bit already. We did.
That's really the sort of a rhetorical question, but
Any other public comments, second reading? Hearing, yes, Chuck?
Chuck Appleby, 215 10th Avenue. I do this for a living with this demo. I got a building I'm doing. It came down in a hurricane in Seagirt. I just did the demo, bid walk and everything. But these things are expensive. I just spent $607,000 for a demo plus consulting another $200,000. So it's a lot of money to do a demo and then restore it. So a lot of people don't realize what these things cost. And it's just something that you have to go, and it's good that it's a competitive bid. You get other ones bidding on it, so it's fair and reasonable. So I'm glad that, we're doing it.
Thank you, Chuck. Any other comments on second reading? Hearing none, I'd close the public portion. I'd entertain a motion from council.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Council President Wilk,
I'll second.
second by Councilmember Connor. Roll call.
Council President Wilk,
Yes.
Councilmember Connor,
Yes.
Councilmember Anfield,
Yes.
Councilmember Kraft,
Yes.
Councilmember Rotunda,
Yes.
motion approved.
Next on the agenda is payments of claims, 224-132. It's approving payment of itemized claims and a bill list as set forth in the check register bill list for the time period March 22nd, 2024 to April 4th, 2024. Any questions, comments from council on the list, or if not, a motion?
I'll make the motion, Mayor.
You'll second it,
Motion by Councilmember Kraft, seconded by Council President Wilk. Roll call?
Councilmember Kraft,
Yes.
Council President Wilk,
Yes.
Councilmember Anfield,
Yes.
Councilmember Connor,
Yes.
Councilmember Rotunda,
Yes.
motion approved.
Next is 224-133. It's introduction of the municipal budget for the fiscal year 2024. And that introduction, as per a revised resolution related thereto, references there's a slight difference in that which had previously been distributed, and the appropriation within caps, $10,262,077.08. Those appropriations excluded from caps, $2,115,544.37. And that, as per the resolution, will result in a public hearing for the budget to be held in council chambers May 2nd at 7 p.m. Any questions, comments from council, or if not, a resolution?
So moved.
Motion by Councilmember Rotunda,
I'll second.
second by Councilmember Connors. Roll call?
Councilmember Rotunda,
Yes.
Councilmember Connor,
Yes.
Councilmember Anfield,
Yes.
Councilmember Kraft,
Yes.
Council President Wilk,
Yes.
motion approved.
The next are resolutions. I'll read them in summary fashion. 224-134, appointing Carrie Seneca as a full-time clerk 1. 135, appointing Class 1 special law enforcement officers for the calendar year 2024. 136, appointing seasonal pump-out boat operators for 2024 summer season. 137, authorizing the execution of a change order number 1 in the contract between the Borough of Seaside Park and its municipal council, Siddle Holzapfel Zabarski. 138, awarding a contract for background check services to Adam Safeguard. 139, authorizing the designated miscellaneous refund for marina slip number 41. 140, authorizing the appointment of seasonal employees for the Department of Public Works. And 141, appointing Class 1 trainees. Any questions, comments from council on any of the resolutions?
No, Mayor.
Hearing none, it's our practice to allow any public comments on resolutions, if there are any. They're not required by law. If there's any comments on any individual resolution, if you could give your name and address in the record, I'll go into the public. Hearing none, I'll close the public portion, and I'd entertain a motion from council as to the resolutions as referenced as a consent agenda.
I'll make that motion, Mayor.
Motion by Council President Wilk, second by Councilmember Kraft. Roll call?
Council President Wilk,
Yes.
Councilmember Kraft,
Yes.
Councilmember Anfield,
Yes.
Councilmember Connor,
Yes.
Councilmember Rotunda,
Yes.
motion approved.
And that concludes the written agenda. Is there anyone else on council has any other items at this time? I know one item we have by way of an announcement, a public event, is 1 week from this Saturday is the biannual beach sweep, whereby the Clean Ocean Action Organization and a number of volunteers go up and down the New Jersey coast in various towns for beach cleanup. And I know a lot of participants of the various organizations and clubs from Seaside Park regularly do participate in the event and certainly deserve our thanks and appreciation, and the Public Works and the Police Department provide assistance along with the Recreation Department as well. And we are one of the original towns, along with Lavalette, to actually participate in that annual beach sweeps of Clean Ocean Action, going back 39 years. So That's a 1 week from Saturday at 9 a.m. Anything else from council? If not, I'll go into the audience. If there are any public comments, if anyone has any, they could give their name into the record. Hearing none, I'll close the public comment section. I entertain a motion from council.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Council President Wilk,
Second?
and second by Councilmember Kraft. Roll call.
Council President Wilk,
Yes.
Councilmember Kraft,
Yes.
Councilmember Anfield,
Yes.
Councilmember Connor,
Yes.
Councilmember Rotunda,
Yes.
motion approved.
And thank everyone for coming out this evening. And